Alrighty, folks, it is time to catch up on the mortgage market. We haven't done this for 3 weeks as I was out and about gallivanting in Australia. What I can say is based on some of the data I've seen in the last 48 hours, it looks like the spring selling season might be perking up. Looks like purchase demand is up. Refi demand is down week on week, but up big year on year. So let's check in with Matt, the mortgage guy, and see what's going on in mortgage. How you doing, buddy? What's going on?
I'm doing great, Mike. Welcome back stateside here. And here in, the US of A in mortgage land, as somebody who works with a bunch of buyers and really pay less attention to stats and that, more attention to what, people are telling me and what I'm hearing. I think the consumer is slowly waking up for a spring buying season. When we started the year, we thought we were going to have the wildest spring buying season that we've seen in many, many years. Probably a lot of us, if we would have predicted, would have said this might be the busiest since 2021. Then we've had some curveballs and some, things happen, right? Where people thought, oh my gosh, maybe we'll just miss the spring buying season like we did in 2025. It won't come at all. I think things are starting to settle down. I think people are starting to wake up. And so, with buyer demand, being up, mortgage applications on the buy side being up, it's, buyers are coming out. They're different than normal, right? And I think that this has been said in other markets where, you've got kind of picky buyers. You've got buyers that aren't afraid to back out of a contract if they don't get their way. I had some interesting conversations with agents, and this is always like my best data, right? I call the listing agent. We're talking through, hey, I'm going to present this to my sellers. I want to know X, Y, and Z about your buyers. And, I was just talking to the agent about, I got a full file I can close quick. All the normal things, right? Let them feel confident that they've been pre-approved by somebody local and they can take that to their sellers. But the listing agent on this one told me, Matt, like, it's wild what buyers are putting in some of these contracts, right? And I don't want to name any names, so I'll try to change some facts here. But, buyers want a whole bunch of protections in a contract. They've got
it's definitely different than 2 or 3 years ago where they were waiving all the conditions. And this is just a sign to me that the spring selling season is picking up, right? Because we have all the sellers, right? They're kind of a known quantity. But buyers coming back in, frankly, they should be picky, right? They have all the power right now.
Right.
I think that changes if rates go sub 6, right? We have a new Fed president coming in very soon. Jerome Powell's swan song is today. So again, I think it screams if we go sub 6, the market gets wild again. And it's to your point, January I called up 8%. We go to war and rates shoot up. I'm like, ooh, we're going to be flat. And again, I'm talking transactions so people don't get confused. And, I don't know. I think the spring selling season is I think people are like, you got the stock market at all-time highs. You've got earnings generally good, and you have prices flat. And I actually just saw a report, shout out Logan Montashami from Housing Wire, where buyer demand in consumer sentiment is at a record high since 2021.
Wow.
It's like all of this is like teeing up to be like, you know what? Even a war isn't going to slow this train down. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and a couple things, first on the rate stuff, it's interesting. We're only hours away as we record this from, this latest last meeting for Jerome Powell, where I don't know if I've seen that CMA or CME watch tool be at 100%, but it's like 100%.
Yeah,
it's guaranteed that the rates
nothing. We're doing nothing today.
Yeah. But I went and clicked all through the year, and we go like 3% next month. There's a 25 basis point cut, and then 5%, and then 6%. You get all the way out to the end of the year. It's still sub 10% that we get a cut. and then it's 3 or 4% that we actually go up 25 basis points in 2026. So who knows what's going to happen? But what I do know with buyer sentiment is, not everyone's necessarily paying attention or, worried about overseas conflict and when the Strait of Hormuz gets open. But, there's enough people that when that gets resolved, me and you are peace guys, Mike. I think me and you both want things to get resolved. That's going to for sure unlock a certain amount of demand. That's just like, I don't know, I'm a little uneasy. I'm not going to make a huge purchase while I'm uncertain about this. Especially, it's wild for me to watch like a week where the stock market does bad. And I can't remember whose graph it was. It was probably Ryan Lundquist's graph where you could look at, no, it wasn't his. Maybe it was somebody else's. You could look at the S&P 500 and home sales. And, that's what it was. It was somebody who was talking about, foreign buyers buying or something to that effect. And, long story short, people that have a lot of money, have money in the stock market and they have real estate. If they're up 30% in the stock market, they're feeling good. They're feeling like they want to go spend some money and they buy real estate. And, that trickles down to even, poor folk like me, I think.
Well, I think there's a couple of things going on. Let's talk about Jerome Powell and Kevin Warsh. Because again, Jerome Powell's swan song as the Fed president is today. Will he stay on the board a couple of months? Probably. I think he's going to stay there a couple of months as this, DOJ thing works itself out. Why give up, the coverage of immunity if you don't have to? So I think it's probably behooves him to stay. But Kevin Warsh is coming in, and he has probably pinky swore to President Trump that he's going to do everything he can to cut rates. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens, especially as oil today, again, ticking up over 100. I think it was 103 or 104. That's going to dent, consumer demand, at the gas station. Also, all oil shocks back to the 50s have led to recessions. So, this is going to be an interesting 2026. It's never boring, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I've got smart friends that are saying, we haven't seen or felt the shock of this stuff yet. Right. Like you people think they have, and they think that like that stuff's happening and then we're going to get an immediate effect, but it's 6, 9, 12 months down the road. And so, yeah, it'll be interesting to see, how it all plays out for me in my seat as a mortgage broker and somebody who works with a lot of investors. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. What I want to remind investors is the uncertainty piece, and when people pull back is when you want to go gung ho. But you've got to realize, like, I look at the stats for Sacramento, and there's 2 months of housing supply, and there's active listings are not high. 1,730, I think, was the number in March. You're not going to go out in that type of market and write a disrespectful offer. You're just not. You can get a pretty good deal, but you're not going to go out there and, I've seen and I've talked to and I've tried to reason with, some investors that, if you want some practice reps, fine. But if you want to write something with zero chance, you might be better off when you look up in 5 years being, maybe a 15% discount or a 12% discount would have been enough. I shouldn't have been writing at 30% thinking that, someone's going to give away their house.
Yeah, no, again, as somebody who's constantly talking about disrespectful offers, you have to know your market, your buy box, and you've got to be fishing for the right kind of properties, right? If you're writing even a 15% discount on a first day listing, shame on you. That's just stupid. But, if your market of Sacramento has an average days on market of 26 and you found a listing that's 52, right, days on market, yeah, go do your thing. They probably got an offer in 3 weeks. You can call it practice reps if you want. But, yeah, I just think people need to be more skilled in when to deploy disrespectful offers. Because, again, if you have 2 months supply, you're writing them on your 5th day of listing, that's just wasting everybody's time.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, again, Matt, you've got a lot of stuff going on. I saw in a post you're going to be getting your Vegas license here soon, a Nevada license. Where can people reach out to you?
Go to mtmg.com. Me and my team are happy to help. For a long time, I've had strategic partners where it's like, oh, if I'm going to do something for you in Washington, it's this partner. If I'm going to do something for you in the states where I'm the most active and doing the most business, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to spend the 4 hours doing this gosh darn CE. So California, Florida, Texas, Tennessee, Arizona, added Oregon in the last month, adding Nevada, probably going to add some others because I want to personally work with especially the ORAT community and do those deals in my personal name, even though when I'm partnered with somebody and it's like, they're going to run the deal on their license, I'm still that they get 2 advisors in that case. So it's not like, it's anything less, but still adding the licenses to support ORAT and all my business. So go to mtmg.com. That's the best place to start. Schedule a call with me and the team, and we're happy to help.
Thank you, buddy. Take care.
Thanks, Mike.